Radio.
انت لو مشيت كينيا او رواندا يوغندا ما بتلقى كيس كبرة، انت ما بتشوفه، ونحن قاعدين نقبل نورد منهم البلاستيك، هم بيصنعوا البلاستيك ونحن بنشتغل به. ليه؟ جوبا ده ما زي باقي الدول المنتجة للبترول، لكن الانفايرمنت بتاعه ما تمام، لكن نبدأ نحن من نفوسنا. مفروض اي زول جنبيته ينظف ويمنع الاكياس ويحرق الاوساخ ويعمل الحاجة الملازم انه انت تقدر تعمله في الحي بتاعك. نحن نشارك كلنا نشوف موضوع.
Hello, good afternoon. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. The Ministry of General Education and Instruction has announced that more than 11,000 students have failed the 2024 South Sudan Certificate of Secondary Education exams. A family in Juba has received their late son's Senior 4 examination results with mixed emotions after he was killed in Gudele shortly after sitting for his exams. And media practitioners have renewed calls for greater media space and unrestricted press freedom as South Sudan prepares for elections in December 2026. These stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Baria Johnson, and now the news in detail. The Ministry of General Education and Instruction has announced that more than 11,000 students have failed the 2024 South Sudan Certificate of Secondary Education exams. Minister Kuyuk Abol Kuyuk made the statement on Wednesday during the official release of the national examination results. According to the minister, a total of 48,079 candidates sat for the national exams out of over 50,000 registered students. Of these, 11,778 candidates failed, including 6,573 males, 4,805 females, representing a failure rate of 23.7%. Minister Kuyuk also revealed that only 13 candidates scored between 90 and 100 marks, representing just 0.003% of the total candidates. He explained that the low number of top scorers reflects the government's strong measures to curb examination malpractices. Kuyuk spoke yesterday during the official announcement of the examination results.
Those who scored from 90 to 100 were only 13 students, 13 candidates, which is a percentage of 0.003, which means that there was really, we have put very strong measures to curb malpractices in the examination. As indicated in the score distribution above, a total of 11,778, about 6,573 males, and 4,805 females were unsuccessful. They failed in the examination, and that represented almost a quarter, 23.7%.
A family in Juba has received their late son's Senior 4 examination results with mixed emotions after he was killed in Gudele shortly after sitting for his exams. God Jok Ngor, who was 20 years old at the time, sat for the 2024 Certificate of Secondary Education exams, but he was killed by gangs in Gudele Boaba in March this year, according to his uncle Ngor Jok. Speaking to iRadio on Thursday, Jok said the arrival of his nephew's result has left the family heartbroken and joyful at the same time as they remember his hard work and dedication. He said the late God scored 74.1%, a remarkable achievement that brought joy to the family. Jok shared his memories of the late student in an exclusive interview with iRadio.
جود ده كان يعني من أميز الأولاد في البيت، وراجل مؤدب جدا ومهذب، وما ممكن تسمع صوته في البيت إلا بكلمة حاضر. كان مجتهد جدا في دراسته، ومستحيل تطلب منه حاجة ويقول لك لا، يعني رغم إنه هو عاش يتيم الأم، والدته توفت وهو صغير، يعني كان عنده 3 سنين. هو الولد الوحيد عند أمه ومتوفت وهو كان لسه صغير جدا. مع ذلك أمهاته من أبوه عوضوه الحنان ده، يعني ما كان فاقد للحاجة دي، وعاش وسط أخوانه الثانيين يعني. فهو كان من ضمن أخوانه برضه مش بيشتغل عشان يقدر يساعد ناس البيت. حتى من الحاجات الكويسة اللي هو عملها حتى رسومه بتاعت المدرسة وكان بيدفعها من الشغل بتاعه اللي هو شغاله في الرشة ده. فكلنا الخبر بدنا كان يعني صدمة كبيرة يعني. حتى النتيجة لما ظهرت امبارح يعني فرحنا وكنا حزينين جدا يعني، لأنه كنا بنتمنى إنه يكون حضور مع الناس ويقدر يكمل مشواره بتاع التعليم اللي هو بداو ده، لكن هو يد القدر قالت كلمتها.
Ngorjok said the family has dedicated God's results to the memory of his late mother and his soul.
بقدر الناس انه فرحانين لانه جاب نتيجه كويسه، لكن حزنانين انه هو يعني ما شاف نتيجته ولا ما سمع عزاته ولا عارف انه هو نجح هنا. لكن احنا برضه بنهدي نجاحه ده لامه اللي توفت، وبنهديه حتى لروحه. هو ما معنا حاليا، لكن كيف نتيجته دي فرحتنا. وهو قدر شنو يعني كان شغال منتظر كان النتيجة دي، كان حلمه انه هو يكون طالب جامعي، الحاجة اللي هو كان نفسه يقراها يعني. لكن ربنا اراد انه هو يكون معنا الليلة، لكن رغم ذلك منها سعيدين انه هو شعور مخلوط كده، انه نحن مبسوطين انه هو نجح وحزينين لانه نجاحه ده هو ما حس بيه وما شافه وما سمعه حتى، لكن اكيد هو في مكان افضل.
Media practitioners have renewed calls for greater media space and unrestricted press freedom as South Sudan prepares for elections in December 2026. They also encourage social media users to use the platforms and avoid causing harm. Choljani, the editor-in-chief of the Catholic Radio Network, said media houses should continue working together with the media authority. He spoke during iRadio's Dawn Show this morning.
The press freedom is what we want in South Sudan, and as we are heading toward election, we need media to be given a space that will give opportunity for the electorate to elect the leader they want without intimidation. We need social media to be used constructively without really causing damage. And indeed, we need to work together with the media authority, and media authority should not be a blockage. It should be used as an institution that help the media houses to prosper.
Meanwhile, Mathiang Cirillo, the editor-in-chief of Al-Mawqif Arabic newspaper, called for access to information for journalists in the country. He said access to information will enable journalists to provide accurate and credible news to the public.
احنا محتاجين ننتقل لمرحلة بتاعت انه نناقش القضايا بعمق، we go deep عشان نتناقش في التفاصيل. فور اكزامبل بس نحن بنتكلم عن رسالته، ما في اي ميديا عنده اكسس للطريقه اللي قاعد يريبوه الميزانيه بتاع الحكومه. احنا بنسمع بس انه في بكيت قدام في البرلمان، لكن الماليه عامله شنو عشان يدير الميزانيه ده ما بنعرف، لانه افضل بديك معلومات، وفي معلومات كده ما في مسؤول حكومي بيقدر يديك له، لانه نفس المسؤول الحكومي لو ادى معلومات حساسه ممكن يتشال في نفس اليوم. فبالتالي الكلام حول الحريه بتاعت او الصحافه مستقله او اعلام مستقل برضه مربوط انه يكون في جو سياسي مستقر بالنسبه لكل السياسيين عشان يتكلموا to debate on some issues، وكده بيقدر معلومات. فما ممكن تتكلم عن صحافه او اعلام مستقل من دون ما تكون انت عندك اكسس للمعلومات. هسه عندنا مفوضيه access for information، لكن لو مشيت وكتبت طلب it's difficult to get the information that you want.
In the 2025 World Press Freedom Index released in May, South Sudan rose to 109th place, up from 136th last year. Reporters Without Borders attributed the improvement to fewer attacks on the media. However, the report warned that economic pressure remains a major challenge for media outlets globally. You are listening to iRadio Afternoon News. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, Albino Akolatak, says recent influx of refugees and returnees, coupled with effects of climate, will cause serious humanitarian crisis. In a statement published by the Office of the President on Wednesday, Minister Atak briefed President Kiir on the overall humanitarian situation. He said millions of people, especially in Lakes, Western Equatoria, Northern Bahr el Ghazal, and Unity states, are expected to be affected by severe flooding between September and October. The minister also stressed that the preparations that preparations are underway to mitigate these impacts, including the construction of dikes and water channels to reduce water flow in the most affected areas. In response, President Kiir has reaffirmed the government's commitment to supporting affected populations. He also directed relevant institutions to develop crucial policies to address these challenges and issued a call for international donors to provide early assistance for response and mitigation efforts. And finally, the Minister of General Education and Instruction, Kuyuk Abul Kuyuk, has revealed that 8,000 girls who completed their primary education in 2020 were unable to finish their secondary education. The minister said the girls were expected to sit for their certificate of secondary education exams in 2024 but dropped out along the way. This comes as the ministry officially released the 2024 certificate of secondary education results on Wednesday after nearly 8 months of delay. Speaking during the announcement, Minister Kuyuk described the dropout as a serious issue that must be urgently addressed. He said the ministry will commit to putting in place new policies aimed at supporting girls to stay in school and complete secondary education.
However, more work needs to be done. It appears that a significant proportion of girls that completed primary education in 2020, and we expected them to sit this year, about 8,000 of them were not able to sit the exams, which indicates a huge dropout for girls as they transition to secondary education. Her Excellency Josephine Joseph Lagu, the Vice President and the Chairperson of Science Service Delivery Cluster, yesterday when we went to present the results to her, she committed the government to continue to support the ministry's policies and priorities in strengthening teacher training programs and recruitment of teachers in order to provide quality education.
This is iRadio News, and for the regional and international news, we are joined by my colleague Nyamot Pod.
Good afternoon. Let's have a look at the stories making headlines from the region and beyond. Ghanaian journalist Godwin Asedipa has won the 2025 BBC News Komladumor Award. The investigative reporter, filmmaker and news anchor, who is the 10th recipient of the accolade, works with TV3 and 3FM in Ghana. His stories have also appeared on several international broadcasters. The 29-year-old often focuses on human interest stories, aiming to expose injustice and amplify the voices of marginalized communities. Elsewhere, India's aviation safety regulator is grappling with a staffing crisis that is severely affecting its ability to fulfill its mandate, a parliamentary panel has warned in a new report. The lawmakers were tasked with reviewing aviation safety in the aftermath of the 12 June Air India plane crash, which killed 260 people, mostly passengers. The report doesn't mention the crash, but flags several other concerns, including overworked air traffic controllers. Finally, Texas legislators have approved new congressional maps designed to give Republicans an edge in next year's election for the U.S. House of Representatives. After a 2-week standoff in which Democrats fled the state to stall the vote and rally supporters against redistricting plans, Republicans in the Texas House of Representatives passed the new voting lines in an 88-52 vote. The maps will now go to the state senate, where they are expected to be swiftly approved. That's all from the international scene. Now back to you, my colleague in the studio.
Thank you, Nyamod. And now for the sports news, we are joined by Darlington Moses.
Thank you so much, Baria Johnson. Locally, Francis Amin Michael has officially taken office as the new president of the South Sudan Football Federation. Amin was welcomed on Wednesday at the Federation headquarters in Rock City, Juba, during a handover ceremony. This marks his second term after serving as South Sudan Football Federation president between 2017 and 2021. He replaces General Agustino Madud Parek, who led the federation for the past 4 years. In England, Arsenal have hijacked Tottenham's move for Crystal Palace forward Eberechi Eze in a £60 million deal. The move comes as Arsenal seeks to strengthen their attack following concerns over Kai Havertz's knee injury. In South America, violence forced the abandonment of a Copa Sudamericana match in Buenos Aires. 19 Chilean fans of Universidad de Chile were hospitalized after clashes with independent supporters. Report says 2 fans were stabbed and 1 is undergoing surgery after falling from the stands. More than 90 Chilean fans were arrested, with local media suggesting the number could be over 300. In tennis, Italy's Sara Errani and Andrei Vavasori defended the U.S. Open mixed doubles crown. They defeated Iga Swiatek and Kasper Ruud in a thrilling final, winning 6-3, 5-7, 10-6. The pair walked away with a prize of $1 million, 5 times more than last year. That's all in the world of sport, and back to you, Baria Johnson.
This is iRadio News, and to end this bulletin, here's a recap of the main headlines. The Ministry of General Education and Instruction has announced that more than 11,000 students have failed the 2024 South Sudan Certificate of Secondary Education exams. A family in Juba has received their late son's Senior 4 examination results with mixed emotions after he was killed in Gudele shortly after sitting for his exams. And media practitioners have renewed calls for greater media space and unrestricted press freedom as South Sudan prepares for elections in December 2026. That's the end of iRadio Afternoon News. If there is a story or an event you would like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 1:30. I am Baria Johnson. Thanks for listening.